Wow, we made it to the end. So, throughout this course, we learned about the different strategies and guidelines. Throughout this course, we learned about different strategies, guidelines, and rules to the art of public speaking. We learned about speaking in public, and we learned about some of the similarities and difference between speaking in public and having regular conversations. Some of the similarities between the two are being sincere, having good body language. Some of the difference where you wouldn't want to use slang or talk with improper etiquette, and when you're speaking in public, you wouldn't want to talk to an audience like you would talk to your brother per se. We learned how to develop your confidence in a speech by learning that nervousness is a normal thing, that you need to find ways to deal with it. For me, dealing with it would be, say, like talking to or conducting my speech in the mirror. And then we learned about some of the ethics of public speaking and some of the guidelines for ethical speaking. One way to make sure your goals are ethically sound is that you should always be honest and true to what you say, and you never should plagiarize someone else's work. We also discussed about how to analyze your audience. Some of the ways to analyze them would be learning the demographic of your audience. Some of the demographics would include like their age, gender, religion, sort of sexual orientation, maybe if they had any racial or ethnic backgrounds, or maybe even cultural backgrounds. We went over the idea or the topic of this situational audience analysis, by determining the size and the physical setting, can affect affect how the audience's disposition of the speaker would be seen. We also went over things like gathering the right materials to do a proper speech by, like you doing proper research, like using library or out of a catalog, or maybe even internet. You also wanted to document all your reference all your work. We discussed how using statistics to back up the facts of your speech would help to prove your knowledge of your topic and gain credibility. We talked about how speech preparation included organizing and outlining your speech. The best way to organize the speech of your body is to make sure that your main points were clear and concise, and make sure that all your body topics connected back to your main point. By using transitions and signposts, you can keep your work flowing. Another topic we discussed about was how to construct a good introduction by using attention getters, like wow statements, maybe telling a story to your audience. You should also always state your central idea in your introduction. We discussed how, in your conclusion, you should signal the end of your speech, kind of reinforce your central ideas and main topics. We discussed how to make a proper outline for your speech, and how that outlining your speech makes you better prepared and helps you with your confidence a little bit, or at least will help me with my confidence a little bit. What else? we learned how to use about using language, how using familiar words helps to add to the presentation of your speech, and to use proper etiquette and no cuss words gives the audience a better understanding. And we discussed how the delivery of your speech can really make or break you. Um, some of the methods of speech delivery include like reciting from memory really helps. Instead of like reading right from your outline, it kind of helps the flow of it better. um, we also talked about your voice, like the volume of your voice, the pitch rate, how you articulate things. Um, that these all can affect the way that your speech presentation ends up. We talked about body movement, eye contact, and hand gestures, and how each one of them can affect your speech in positive or negative ways, depending if you're not giving enough eye contact, or you're moving around too much, or some of your gestures might be distracting. Um, we learned about visual aids and how they can improve your speech if they're easy to read, understanding. They shouldn't have a lot of text. They should be like bright, bold, something that's like a wow factor that stands out. It should always back up your topics of your speech. Another good practice is to check the room before you go in there and check the equipment that they have before you even make your visual aid. If you're using equipment that they don't have and you don't bring it, then obviously your visual aid was just a waste of time. There were many other topics we discussed throughout this course. Some of them topics included speaking to inform or persuade an audience, or we learned about speaking on special occasion or small groups. But I decided to discuss some of the topics that helped and interested me the most. So I would really just like to close by saying thank you to Mr. Johnson for all your help and patience during this course. Um, it's really helped me in a lot of ways, and I hope that my speeches have gotten better throughout. Thank you.